Welcome everyone. This is Zozo StockWatch, and let's take a look at the markets and get ready for the week ahead and get ready for Monday. This will be a combo video for let's get ready for the week ahead and also your stock watch list. Let's talk a little bit about the week that passed. Stocks ended lower Friday and the Dow and the S&P notch losing weeks, and we haven't had that in a while, right? The S&P notching and the Dow notching losing weeks. So the temperament of the market changed a little bit this week, okay, and maybe it's kind of been leading up to that. But we've had a fantastic run in the markets, and I'm not saying it's over. I'm just saying maybe the climate or the temperament of the market may be changing a little bit, right? And obviously that could change on a dime, and we can shoot up higher. I mean, we are going seasonality into the good months for the market, right? The holidays and whatnot. So I think next week starts off Thanksgiving in the U.S., and so we start to get into the holiday season. So, things will start slowing down a little bit as we get closer and closer to Christmas and whatnot. So, the things that stand out for last week, the tax plan right now, you hear the negatives coming out, and is this tax plan going to get through, or is it going to be in limbo? This is pretty big. This is pretty big for Trump and the markets. I think, they're kind of hoping that Trump can get his agenda through, but there's concerns remaining on this tax bill. Um, so it seems like investors are, just in case, kind of, hedging their bets or looking to take some money off the table right now. But the pullbacks have still remained very shallow. That buy the dip crowd keeps coming in. So we're not getting that big pullback yet. So we're going to have to see, how the Trump agenda, if it's going to remain in limbo, if the pressure on him to get this tax bill through, the health care, the infrastructure. So is he going to be able to get it done? So that's what, the market is kind of counting on. And so we're going to have to see. So that's one of the things, that's kind of a few of the things weighing on the markets, the infrastructure, the tax plan, those tax bills. What's going to happen with a Yellen? Obviously, Yellen is out, but she's going to be speaking in Germany on Tuesday, I believe. So is she going to make any comments on Tuesday with in Germany? Um, and then you have on Monday, you have a GE Investor Day on Monday. So that's going to happen. I'm not sure what time that kicks off, but it'll be going on Monday for General Electric. And then Hasbro Friday night, there was takeover chatter with Mattel. So, a lot of, and then we also have Broadcom, trying to maybe do a hostile bid for Qualcomm. So the mergers are still out there. So Hasbro and Qualcomm and names like that. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Talk about two IPOs that are headed different ways, right? Just to get into some IPO here. Blue Apron, right, hanging out here at $3.17, firing, getting rid of staff, and they just can't get their act together. And then we have a name like Roku, who had tremendous earnings, and Roku popping up for the week here on that IPO. So two different worlds there in the IPO. And since we're on it, let's go ahead. We'll go through some of the best stocks real fast, and then we'll go through some of the worst stocks for the week. So Roku. We'll go on a weekly chart here. Was up 70% for the week on Roku IPO. JC Penney, nice pop there, and JC Penney up about 34%. Macy's had a very nice week, a retailer up 9% for the week. SORL, I believe they have earnings coming up this week, but this stock was up 26%. Auto parts sector, SORL. DDS, another retailer, up 11% for the week. DKS, Dick's Sporting Goods, and this was up 10% for the week, so a little bit of a pop there. Lulu, getting a nice pop through that 63 level, up 6% for the week on Lulu. Coors had earnings and they did very well, up 15% for the week. Disney had earnings, nice recovery there. Disney was actually down on their earnings, and then Bob Iger came on the conference call and was talking Star Wars and whatnot. So anyway, Disney ends up 6% for the week. Nvidia was kind of the last hurrah in the big techs, and they held. They did very well with their earnings, and the stock was up an additional 4%. Like it's not up enough here. If we look at Nvidia on a monthly, I mean, it's just straight up parabolic. But as long as they want to keep this stock moving up, I guess that's what Wall Street wants, and so the stock is headed up $216 a share now from for Nvidia, and that once again was up 4% for the week on that name. Some smaller names, MIFN, this stock was up 32% for the week. Next up, we have Craig, right? Unbelievable China name. Stock was up 400% for the week. KBSF stock was up 173%. MYO, a recent IPO, up 60%, 61% for the week. FRTA. Also up, this was in building materials, up 73% for the week on FRTA. DEPO also up 29% for the week. ENPH stock was up 33%. UEC uranium play up 35% for the week. CCJ, another uranium play, was also up 10% for the week. SAGE, Sage, biotech name. So select biotech names, even with the IBB, and I'll show you that chart in a moment. This stock was up 39% for the week. OMER, another biotech name, up 22% for the week. Cala, another biotech name, up 18% for the week. VRX was up 34% for the week. NKTR, another biotech, up 37%. So select biotechs are getting some buying, even with the IBB pulling back. And then Goose, a recent IPO, as the weather gets cooler, this popped. They had earnings, and the stock was up 23% for the week. PTGX, another biotech name, up 16% for the week. A solar name, Sedge, had earnings and a nice pop there, up 13% for the week. SQ also had their earnings come out, and stock is up 6% for the week there. CMCM, and this one up 26% for the week on CMCM. UUU, stock up 26% on this name, Energy Fuels Incorporated. DNR, and this is probably the last one for the plus side, up 35% for the week. Oh, and lastly, I should say the Container Store. All right, this one was kind of left for dead and up 51% for the week on the Container Store here. You see this was a retail name that was just clobbered, just doing nothing. They finally beat earnings, and stock up 51% for the week. If we go ahead and look at some of the stocks that had the worst week, you have to throw Pandora in there, down 18%. APRN, Blue Apron, down 16% for the week. Netflix, not down too much, but stock was down about 4% for the week. Kind of messing with this 10 SMA on the weekly chart. As you can see, we've been holding that 10 SMA area, so we'll see if they can hold it again here on Netflix. Next up for worst of the week, we have to mention Snap, down 16%. PAAS, one of these silver names, down 9% for the week. Priceline doesn't usually come up on worst stocks of the week, but this week it did, down 10% for the week. Trip Advisor, which is probably kind of getting down there. It's been hit hard. And down about 20% for the week on Trip Advisor. So big downward move there on trip. ATI, this stock was down 15%. MNK down a lot this week, down 30% for the week. VSTO down 32% for the week. A leisure name, outdoor leisure. VERI down 36% for the week. True is down 30% for the week. RRGB in the restaurant world down 30% for the week. Wix, this stock was loved and down 20% for the week on Wix.com there. PETQ, another name, a recent IPO, down 21% for the week. CAR down 18%. Hertz also down about 19% on that name. NVCR, the stock was down 21% for the week. ACAD, stock was down 20% for the week. TWLO, stock is down 16%. So this was another recent IPO, TWLO, and so the stock after their earnings down 16%. BEAT, stock down 14%. And lastly, for our worst ones, Alarm after their earnings down 12% for the week on Alarm. So some things that traders are looking at this week, kind of a little bit of caution signs here. The HYG after holding up here at this 88 level, 89 level, rolling over now down to about 86 area. So this is the high yield corporate bonds, also known as junk. And so these have rolled over a little bit. So is some of the risk coming out of the market? So we'll have to see and watch this on JNK and HYG. A couple of things that you might want to keep an eye on. IBB, we pulled back on the daily here, and this was down 1.48% for the week. We pulled back down to the 200 SMA. So the bulls are showing up here on the IBB. Now can they get it back up, or is this just basically a bear flag kind of forming here on the IBB? We'll have to see, if we get a confirmation candle to the upside. If we look at it on the weekly chart, we're down here, near this 300 support again, only $12 away for the IBB on the weekly there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. IYT. Also rolled over this week, maybe a little bit oversold now at this point, but if it continues down, maybe it wants to do a test of the 200 SMA here on the IYT. So keep an eye on that. So that's some things to look at. SMH, very strong. A little bit of a pullback here on this was Thursday, a little bit of a pullback, but buyers came right back in here around that 102 area for SMH. We'll also look at the IWC. Still having problems getting back over the 50 SMA, but it is holding, this 90, 91 spot on the IWC. I mean, not too much of a pullback in the think of things. You're up here at 97, now we're at 91. So, you could consider after this big run, it's really not pulled back all that much, kind of holding the midpoint of this run here on the IWC. IWM. Take a look at that, and still, slight pullback here from 150 to about 146, and trying to hold this, 50 SMA here, the blue line you see here on the IWM, and that was also after this big run, a little bit of consolidation. Now we've pulled back a little bit, but not too much, but we are pulling back. And then if we look at the SPY, like I said, it's holding above the 20 SMA. So we'll see what they want to do with this for next week. And for the VIX, whoops, if we take a look at the VIX, really, a little bit of volatility came into the market. We were down here near this 9 spot. We hit it here, here, and here. Now we've bounced up again on the VIX. So, we've had highs up here at 13, 14, 16. So we'll see what they want to do, as far as the volatility with the market. And, speaking of volatility, gold currently is below the 50 SMA, maybe going to retest this 200 SMA. Silver is below the 200 SMA here and below the 50. Does it want to come back down and test this 15.25 spot? We'll have to see on that. But showing some weakness there in silver. The Qs themselves, we bounce back to the Qs. Not much pullback at all. Still holding that 10 SMA on the daily chart. If we go ahead and look at it on a weekly chart, it's had a beautiful run. We've been riding this 20 SMA on the weekly chart for the QQQ. Not much of a pullback at all on the weekly chart here on the Qs. So oil, we'll take a look at oil. For the week, oil was up 2% for the week. And if we look at it on the daily, after this nice breakout, nice run, now we're kind of riding the 5 EMA, the yellow dotted line you see here on the USO, XOIL, which is light sweet crude, WTI. Trading around 56.74. Having some resistance here at $58 on oil. Like we said, was up 2% for the week on oil, down a little bit on Friday, down about 0.75% on Friday for oil. And let's see, what other markets do we want to look at? Let me just check real fast for you. We'll go through some of the ETFs. We should look at like the XLF. That this ETF rolled back off of 27, still holding the 50 SMA. So we'll see if this wants to consolidate a little bit at the 50 SMA and then turn back up. XLE. This is the energy spider holding above, that 69 spot and trying to get up through 70 on XLE. So it looks pretty strong there on the oil names. OIH. We'll take a look at the OIH, the services sector for oil, oil services. Here's OIH trying to get up through about that 26 area here, but nice push, nice pull. And Halliburton, popped up to the 200 SMA here and then pulled from it. So Halliburton has been one of the leaders, and Rig continuing up here. A little bit of an indecisive candle there on Rig on Friday. Schlumberger just couldn't get going. This pop had fits and starts here, popped, pulled back, and then pulled back again on Friday from off of that 50 SMA. TAN, the solars, setting up nicely here under 25. But if you look at some of the names, SPWR, this one popped after their earnings, unable to get above 9. CSIQ, after their earnings, gap down, trying to recover a little bit. First Solar, setting up here, trying to get up over 62 spot. Sedge, after the earnings, SEDG, was one of the better looking solar names. Nice pop here after earnings and holding those gains so far on Sedge for some of the solar names. Hack. This is the ETF for the cybersecurity stocks. Not looking too good. Looks like it has a date with the 200 SMA here on that. Such names as FireEye and Palo Alto Networks, FTNT. This is probably the strongest out of all of them. FTNT trying to get up through this 40 spot on FTNT. Cyber, kind of hanging out here around that 45 level on Cyber. And CUDA, another name, basically basing around this 22 spot on CUDA. So that's some of the names there. In social, the ETF for the internet, basically social media and whatnot, holding this 20 SMA, names like, Facebook and Twitter looking a lot better here. Twitter trying to get up through 2050 on this name after the pop after earnings, the pullback, and then now it's kind of turning back up. So Twitter looks interesting there. Snap just crushed. As we talked about in the worst stocks for the week. So that's not helping at all in the SOCL. What else did I want to look at with you? Jets, the ETF for the airlines. Nice pullback here, maybe trying to consolidate now for a possible turn back up. The airlines have been hit. Maybe they're due for a little bit of a bounce here on AAL and DAL, UAL, LUV, and JetBlue. So a lot of punishment there. You know, people, you might say this is kind of still a bear flag forming, and if it breaks this, you know, 1875, we'll probably get more of a sell-off here on JetBlue. But you see, buyers stepped in last time it got down there, so we'll have to keep that in mind on some of the airlines, And then lastly, I guess we'll take a look at some of the bigger names, our leaders like Apple, still holding strong, holding the 5 SMA. Amazon, after their earnings, they gapped up, pushed up. A little bit of indecisive candles here, but still holding above the 10, holding above the 5 EMA on Amazon. Google, trying to get up through that 1050 spot, pulling off from it, and now trying to, stay above the 13 EMA at that 1020 spot on Google, but maybe due for a little bit of a pullback after this nice pop here on Google. Netflix, we'll take a quick look at this one. I think we looked at it already, but popped off the 50 SMA here, pulling back to the 50 SMA again on Netflix. So we'll see what they want to do with that. And Nvidia just keeps roaring right ahead on Nvidia, but like I showed you on that monthly chart, it's very extended on Nvidia, but I guess it doesn't mean anything until it means something. And then the ETF for automation ETF is Robo, ROBO, and that's trying to hold the 13 EMA after that nice run up in Robo. You see here on the weekly, we've been staying above the 10 SMA on ROBO. SLX, some of the steel names, this is the weekly chart. They were down 2% for the week, the steel names, trying to hold this 100 SMA on the daily. We'll see if they can. Here's US Steel, still kind of setting up, holding above the 50, holding above the 200, but you see all these shadows overhanging up near this 28 spot on XSTLD. Below the 10 SMA, trying to get back over 3750. So far, no luck. TMST is another steel name. ZEUS, kind of not doing much. And NUE, another steel name, kind of pulling off here from the highs. MT had earnings recently, and they popped this one, MT. They had good earnings, trying to get it back over 30. So that's some of the steel names. Some of the names that we should look at are just like SHOP, SHOP. Stocks trying to hold the 150 SMA. Just some small bios, Juno, SRPT. Those, like we said, the biotechs have been moving down, but select names have been moving up, like SRPT and Juno are doing well. So those stocks are moving up. And let's see if there's anything else that I should bring up. I should talk about FedEx, trying to hold this 100 SMA as far as the IYT goes. UPS, trying to bounce here. Close to near the 200 SMA on UPS, trying to make a stand to try to move back up on UPS. Christmas is coming, so we'll see on those names what they want to do. And then just some bigger names in the Dow. Caterpillar still holding the 20 SMA. McDonald's rolled over a little bit, broke the 20 SMA on McDonald's. Other big names in the Dow, Merck, not looking so good, kind of a bear flag there. Pfizer, staying under the 50 SMA. Microsoft, remaining strong, holding above that 13 EMA, but below the 10 SMA. Intel, coming back down to the 13 EMA after that big gap up on earnings for Intel. And Coca-Cola, trying to push up and out on Coca-Cola, but then you have names like Verizon, bear flagging, and AT&T, while it's not in the Dow, trying to pop here a little bit on AT&T. Some of the retailers that are coming back is Macy's, J.C. Penney, trying to make a comeback here, and LB, L brands trying to push up and out over this 50 spot on L brands, so nice turnaround there. TJX trying to come up off the bottom here. Target also making a nice pop here off the 200 SMA, and then one of our leaders in retail right now, Walmart, trying to get up through that 92 spot. A little bit of an inverted hammer here on Walmart. All right, so let's get a little bit ready now for the week ahead. We'll talk about some earnings, some call activity. This courtesy of the trade exchange. General Motors had call activity Friday. Groupon, EP, EPD, UPS, and we saw the chart of UPS that popped there. Finish Line, JD, they have earnings Monday. PM, WPX, HUN, all call activity. Put activity GME and INCY. If we go ahead and look at some of the top gainers for Friday, it was XNet, OMER, VKTX, Ovid, VJet, TLGT, IMMU, JCPenney's, that was the earnings, ENDP, Zoz, Roku, as we mentioned, some of the top losers, NVCN, XON, KONA, CVO, PYBI, INFI, TD, EVEP, RDFN, EC, one of those shippers, RBA, and BRKS all had losers for the day on Friday. Let's look at the calendar of events from courtesy of Trade Exchange. Monday, not too much going on, but Monday night it looks like we have some numbers coming out of China for Monday night. As far as Tuesday goes, we have some Fed speak at 3:05, but not much by way of economic. Oh, I'm sorry, this is 3:05 a.m., excuse me. So like we said, Yellen is in Germany, so is Charles Evans, so maybe we might get some comments here out of Yellen on Tuesday morning because she is speaking in Germany. There's a panel going on. Next up, we have James Bullard. He'll be speaking at 8:15 for the Fed speak. Japan's GDP comes out on Tuesday evening. API crude data. And not much else for Tuesday. Wednesday we have to watch because we have retail sales coming out at 8:30. Some more Fed speak coming out also in the morning hours. And let's see, we have the petroleum numbers coming out at 10:30. For Thursday, industrial production, housing market index, nat gas report, more Fed speak, and then Friday housing starts, Baker Hughes rig count for Friday, and so this is going to be really important. The consumer price index and the retail sales on Wednesday. So I would think that would be the most watched numbers, that especially that retail sales number. If we go ahead and look at some of the things that moved this week as far as the S&P spiders, we had the XLY, XLP, XLE, the real estate XLRE and XLU all to the green. XLF was in the red, XLV, XLI, XLB, and all to the red. All right, for your earnings coming out this week, we have JD. We also have WUBA. All right, that's 58.com. So JD and WUBA, Tyson, and this is before the bell on Monday. Also, we have VRAY, VRAY. Let's see if there's anything else. That's pretty much the bigger names. Then in the afternoon, for Monday, we have MRAM, DAVE, HOLI, NETS, OREX, TEAR, TEAR, and WOW, WOW, WOW. All right, so that's some of the names there. And then Home Depot, TJ Maxx, on Tuesday before they open, DKS, Cheniere, which is LNG, if I remember correctly. Let me just check and make sure. Yeah, LNG for Cheniere, Sunworks, IGT, SORL, that parts company that I mentioned and showed you the chart. on the best stocks, so that's going to be reporting earnings. Target, Cisco later on Wednesday will be reporting earnings. J Solar, let's see if there's anything else here. L Brands, symbol LB there. Walmart, big name before the bell on Thursday. Best Buy, BBY. Splunk, SPLK. Applied Materials, AMAT, AMAT. Gap, GPS, Smuckers. What else? Post, POST is the symbol there. And then on Friday, Foot Locker, FL symbol there. Let me just check some of the other symbols reporting for Friday. Let's see. Friday, ANF will be reporting. Abercrombie and Fitch, the Buckle, BKE, DCIX reporting earnings on Friday before the open, and Foot Locker, as I mentioned. All right, so that's your earnings. Still some big names coming out with earnings. Home Depot is going to be watched, and Target. And usually when Home Depot reports, doesn't Lowe's usually report soon after, or maybe before? Let me see if there's Lowe's on here. I don't see it. So maybe not. I thought they used to report like the same time, but I don't see Lowe's on here. Anyway, so Home Depot, and you see the rest of the big names. But don't forget, I see on social media a lot of people talking about WUBA. And they have a very nice looking chart, but just remember that they're going to be reporting, early in the morning on Monday for WUBA. All right, so just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and look at our futures for Sunday night. It's about 7:45 my time, 7:45 p.m. Dow futures up 26, S&P futures up 1, Nasdaq futures up 3. We'll go ahead and check oil and gold. Gold's up about $2. Oil trading 56. 87, pretty much flat to the flat side. And let's look and see if there's any news that came out for over the weekend. We'll check. Hasbro came out and made maybe a possible bid for making a takeover approach to Mattel, and that was from CNBC. I think that's pretty much it as far as, the big news. Qualcomm and Broadcom, trying to come together there. Um, and let's see if there's anything else that I'm missing here. The earnings we went through already. GE, we spoke about the investor day. Valiant is providing the media with an earnings metric that the SEC told it to stop using. So that's a story that's out there. Qualcomm is said to prepare to reject Broadcom's offer. That's Reuters. And Tesla semi-truck unveiled to be webcast live Thursday at 8 p.m. All right, so that's from Elon Musk, an Elon Musk tweet. So Thursday night at 8 p.m., Tesla is going to be unveiling their semi-truck. So that was pretty much the setup for the week ahead and the week that was type of stuff and the things to look out for. Now we'll go ahead and get into the stocks that I have on a watch for Monday. AMPE, you can see it in this kind of consolidation here. If you can get up over that 125 spot on AMPE, might be interesting. BSTI trying to get up over $12. Recent IPO on BSTI. BZUN basing under the 50 SMA, 1.5 million shares. I believe this is a China specialty retail name. So keep your eye on this one if it wants, if WUBA, WUBA, and JD do well, maybe this BZUN might get going. CAPR popping here off of the 50 SMA, has work to do, needs to get over that 255 and then that 275 spot on CAPR. CCR, just because some of the China names have been jumping, we had that Craig jumping and a couple other China names been getting some buying this week. So I'm keeping an eye on this CCCR, see if it wants to get up through that 325 spot on that name. CDNA, nice pop here, and see if it can get up through this $6 area on CDNA. CNTF, Another China name, and this was talking about big pops here. Volume only 283,000 shares, but we'll see if there's any kind of continuation move in that name. Delt, D-E-L-T, trying to come up off the bottom here. Volume about 500,000 shares, so we'll see on that one. DEST, looking for maybe a continuation move here on that. ECYT, we talked about this one in previous videos, maybe starting to turn back up, trying to get over that 550 spot. EKSO had a nice pop on Friday with that news with, I think, Ford, and I forget who else, but Ford was mentioned. Big volume came in, maybe some type of red to green. I don't think this is like a big fast mover, so maybe it's better off as a swing trade, so I'll have that on watch. ENDP, drug manufacturer, trying to push up. 12 million shares came in, trying to get over, $7 on ENDP. ENRJ, maybe trying to turn the corner. This is kind of an under 50-cent name. It's in the energy, oil, and gas sector. That CEI gave a big pop, a few days ago. So maybe this ENRG wants to kind of do the same thing. So we'll see. If you like those under 50-cent names, Galt. Trying to set up here, trying to get up over 275 on Galt. HAIR, recent IPO, big pop here. Very light shares though, very light volume, so we'll see. Not a favorite. ITEK starting to turn back up, maybe 275, 280 is enough to get that one going. JWN, just because some of the other retailers popped, maybe this one wants to follow suit if it ever gets over that maybe 40, 50 spot on JWM. KGJI, nice pop here, trying to get up over 240. Would like to see more volume coming to that one. LBIX gave a nice pop, pulled back. You see these topping candles, but still holding this 200 SMA. Maybe if it can get it back over 180 LBIX, maybe it starts to turn the corner. A little bit of a sleeper play there. LINU, same thing, big pop here, pulled back, holding above the 50. Maybe if it can get over the highs from Friday of like 190, maybe that one gets going. That's another kind of sleeper pick. LULU, looking for maybe a pullback to maybe enter this as a swing trade on that name. OKTA, it's been consolidating, trying to break out. Maybe 29.25 sends this higher on that name. ONCS, topping candles, shadowing candles here right now. So we'll see how this sets up intraday. But you see the volume that's been coming into that name. OVID, nice pop, trying to get back over, the highs from Friday. 925, maybe enough to, get a continuation move. Volume, though, only 100,000 shares, though, so a little bit light on the volume for me. PYDS, after these big pops, it pulled back. It's holding the 13 EMS, maybe trying to get over 285, and maybe it gets going again. RIGL, a little bit of a forgotten name. Had these big pops over 4, pulled back, now consolidating. Maybe if this ever gets back over 4, might get going. SOGO, we actually played this one in the service on Friday for a nice pop. So I'll have this one on watch again on SOGO, recent IPO on this name. SORL, like I mentioned, it has earnings coming up, so we'll see how it does after the earnings. But this one looks interesting, trying to get up over that $6 area. Twitter, if it can ever break over that 2050 spot on Twitter, you might get a continuation move up. YUMC, basing nicely here, trying to get over 42 again. This is Yum China. So, and we'll just take a quick look and see if Yum America is doing anything. It's doing okay. But this one looks like to be setting up nicer. Nice base here, trying to turn up over 42. ZGNX holding this 37 spot, trying to get back over $40 on this name. So if it gets back over 40, could be an interesting entry there and for another push up on ZGNX. All right, folks, so that's it for the video. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great week trading. I'll be back with the stocks to watch exclusively on Monday night. This is kind of your stocks to watch and let's get ready for the week ahead combo. So I hope you're more ready for the week ahead than you were before. And if you don't like this stocks to watch list, there'll be another one coming Monday night for Tuesday. All right, everybody, have a great day trading, great week trading. If you like these videos, hit the thumbs up and retweet them. And also, if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Have a great night. Thank you very much.